Hey there, I'm Lance and I'm a gamer.
And I'm Sam, and I'm a non-gamer.
And we are Love to Hate, where we try to help gamers find great games to play with non-gamers.
And today we're taking a look at two games, Quoridor and Qawale by Gigamic Games.
That's right, we're taking a look at both of these abstract strategy games from Gigamic Games, and that is because right now on Hachette Games website, you can score two-player abstract strategy games and select cooperative games at a discount rate between now and Valentine's Day, February 14th, 2023. And you need to use the code CUPID22, which we'll include down below in the description of this video. But they sent us both of these games to check out for this Valentine's Day. So this is going to be a dual review video in which we talk a little bit about both these games, our thoughts on them, what we like about them. So we have Qawale and Quoridor. Now, both of these games are abstract strategy games, and they have unique components to it. Both of these games include a game board that is a dense, heavy game board, excuse me. And with Qawale, you have these pebble pieces that are made out of solid wood, coming in 3 different colors. And then in Quoridor, you have wooden components as well. You've got the wooden pawns with the wooden walls that you'll be moving around on the board, trying to block off the other player. Let's go down to the table. We're going to show you a little bit about each of them, how they play, and then we'll come back and share thoughts on these from a gamer and non-gamer perspective. All right, I have Quoridor and Qawale on the table. Let me show you guys how to play these abstract strategy games. We're going to start with Quoridor first, and you'll see that you have a beautiful solid wood board, and this has got some weight to it. Both of these boards do, but this is a nice red finished board here, and it has some pegs that are glued into the board. So these are stationary. These are not going to be moving, but you do have these wooden pieces here that are going to act as walls, as well as 4 wooden pawns of different colors. And this would be the setup that you would have for a 4-player game. If it were only a 2-player game, you would only need 2 pawns. But the objective here is the same for 2 or 4 players. You are just simply trying to move your pawn from whatever side of the playing surface it's on. So if I'm this pawn here, I start on this side, and I'm trying to get to this side of the board. This is kind of like checkers whenever you want to move your piece to the other side of the board to make it a king. That's the idea. And on your turn, you have a choice. You can move your pawn 1 space orthogonally, so forwards or side to side, or you could even go backwards. That's one option. The second option is to use one of your walls, and you can place it anywhere you want on the board, but it does have to go like such, where you are covering up 2 pieces. You cannot have it cover up 1 piece and a little bit of 2 other pieces. It fully has to be covering up 2 pieces, and I could place it either diagonal or horizontal like that. Now, if you are playing in a 2-player game, you're going to have 10 walls for you to use in your reserve. But if you're playing in a 4-player game, you are only going to have 5 walls that you can use. And once you've used all your walls, you are not going to be able to use them anymore. You will have to just move your guy about. And what you're doing with these walls, obviously, is trying to block off other pieces so they can't just go straight forward all the way to the other side. But these walls will stay there, and so it may inhibit you from being able to move to the other side. So you do have to be clever about where you place these walls. There are some additional rules about as far as when you are face to face with somebody. So if it's something like this, for instance, you do get to jump over another pawn. However, if there is a wall on the other side, you are not going to be able to jump over them, but you can move diagonal when you are faced with somebody and you are not able to jump over them. That is the only time that you are able to move diagonal. And it's just simply trying to get your pawn to the other side. That's all there is to this particular game. So let's look at Qawale over here. And again, we have a very solid board. This has got some weight to it. And these black pebbles are going to be stationary. They are glued into the board. You do have 4 of these neutral colored pebbles, and these are solid wood as well. I say pebbles, but they are wooden. And you're going to have 2 on each of the corners. And then one player will have 8 of their own pieces in red, and the other player will have 8 of their pieces in yellow. And one player will go first, and they will simply take one of their pieces and choose one of the stacks that are out here, placing their piece on top, then taking the entire stack and moving from the stack that it's on. They can go 1 space in an orthogonal direction, so maybe right there, leaving the bottom piece on that stack, and then moving again from there until they have no more in their hand. So maybe I go here and I leave the bottom piece there as well, and then I move the top piece that I just added 1 more space from there. So it would look something like that, and then the yellow player would go, taking one of theirs, and again, taking any of the stacks. You don't have to take a stack that has more than 1. You could take a stack that only has 1 and move 1 space and 1 space again, like so. You are not allowed to go back to the same space that you were just left from. So for instance, if I had something like this, I could not go like that and then right back to where I just came from. That is illegal. However, you are able to loop around. So I can maybe go like this, like that, and like that. Even though I started on this space, I did loop around and I've used all of the spaces without coming back to a space where I just dropped a pebble. That is legal. The idea in this game is to try and get 4 of your pieces in a line at the end of your turn. If you're able to do that, you win the game. So this is a little bit like Connect 4, but you are going to have to deal with the trickiness of the stones and how they move, and picking up a stack of stones and moving them about the board. There you have it. That's our 2 abstract strategy games, Quoridor and Qawale, and they do both come with their own bags to put all the pieces, these respectively here. And that's what you have inside these 2 games. Let's go back up top and share our thoughts on them. And we're back, and now we're going to share our brief thoughts on both of these games. So Sam, Qawale, let's start with that one first. This is Connect 4-esque because you're trying to get 4 in a row, but it definitely is an abstract strategy game. You're moving these pebbles around, these stacks of pebbles, and you need to try to do so cleverly to get yours in a row. What'd you think about this one?
It actually reminded me of one of the games that I don't know if it was on your top 10 or definitely in your top 20 games of the year, Boop.
Yeah. In fact, Boop right here. Yeah, it definitely has that same kind of idea of trying to get your pieces lined up in a row, but there's a twist about how those pieces move and how you can get them where you need them to be. Yeah, this definitely has that same feel. I like the components with both of these games, but especially with this one with those wooden stones, because they feel heavy and they feel dense, and it just
they're wooden.
Yes, they're solid wood, and yeah, they're not stones. They're wood. Yeah. But they definitely have a high quality feel to them. What did you think about that?
Yeah, I think for people that maybe aren't really into board games but like interacting with other people, I think this is a good gateway, I guess, because would be nice like on your coffee table. You could just have it out, and both of them, but especially Qawale, it's very quick. And multiple people, could play with 2 people, and 2 other people could play, and you know what I mean? Like it's a statement piece too.
Now I think this is a perfect couples game, and hence we're showing it during Valentine's Day season, and so this is a 2-player game, and I think it's a great 2-player back and forth strategy, abstract strategy, just trying to outsmart the other person. And it's really all just about trying to see 1 or 2 moves ahead of what the other person's doing. So really interesting game here. Let's move over here to Quoridor. Now Quoridor is a game that can actually be played up to 4 players. So this isn't just a couples game, but it is a fantastic 2-player game as well. What did you think about this one?
This one was definitely more unique to me because I've never played a game. We have a lot of abstract games, but in essence, creating that maze for the other person, I'm not good at it. So
I find it to be really fun though, because as that person is getting closer, you're starting to think, okay, if I put this wall here, that makes them have to move this many spaces forward. Then on my next turn, if I put this wall here, now that I've added...
If you're not careful, then you're not moving.
You're not moving yourself, exactly.
So that's what happened to me. I was only halfway through the board, but I was so focused on preventing Lance, and he still beat me. But
the really cool thing with this one too is that you have to, when you're putting out those walls, you have to keep in mind that you might have to move through some of those same parts of the board if you're not careful. And so by making it difficult for her, I might be making it difficult for myself.
Yeah.
And when you increase the player count to 4 players and you've got people going all over the place, I mean, that just multiplies the fun level when it comes to that. So I think Qawale is definitely a more thinky and definitely abstract kind of game. Quoridor is like it feels like a race experience, but at the same time, I don't want to, mess myself up by messing you up kind of game. And it's definitely still abstract, but it feels like more of a race game. And I like both of them too.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Overall, I think these are great games that you should check out. On Hachette's website, we'll include the link for that down below. And don't forget to use the code Cupid22, excuse me, to save 22%. There you go. So check it out down below. Leave us some comments. Let us know what you think about these games.
Make sure to like and subscribe and push that bell button so you get notifications of all our new content.
I'm Lance.
I'm Sam.
And we are Love to Hate, where we try to bridge the gap between gamers and non-gamers. We'll catch you next time.